For centuries, this place was nothing more than an open landscape beneath the Spanish sky. Shepherds crossed the fields with their flocks. Farmers carved small plots into the earth. A simple path worn by. Footsteps and wagon wheels slowly connected, scattered settlements across the countryside. As generations passed, that lonely trail grew busier. Travelers arrived carrying goods, stories, and opportunities. Small stone shelters multiplied. Fields expanded. What seemed insignificant at first was quietly becoming an important crossroads in the heart of the Iberian Peninsula. Then came Rome. The arrival of Roman influence transformed the landscape. Roads became straighter and stronger. Stone markers appeared. Merchants, soldiers, and officials traveled routes that connected this remote settlement to one of the greatest empires the world had ever known. The village steadily evolved into a thriving Roman community. Stone houses replaced simple huts. Public fountains brought people together. Markets emerged. New buildings rose beside the roads as trade and prosperity spread throughout the region. For a time, growth seemed unstoppable, but empires do not last forever. As Roman authority weakened, maintenance faded. Buildings weathered. Cracks spread through walls. Markets became quieter. Roads that once carried constant traffic gradually lost their importance. The settlement survived, but the certainty of the Roman world slowly disappeared. Yet history rarely leaves a place empty for long. New cultures arrived. New rulers reshaped old foundations. Roman ruins were reused rather than abandoned. Fresh architecture rose among the remnants of the past. Slowly, the settlement entered a new age. Under Moorish influence, the city began to flourish once again. Elegant arches appeared. Water channels brought life to gardens and public spaces. Traders arrived from distant lands carrying fabrics, spices, and goods from across continents. The streets filled with movement, color, and commerce. The transformation accelerated. Homes multiplied. Markets expanded. Decorative patterns spread across buildings. Towers rose above the skyline. What had once been a modest settlement was becoming a vibrant urban center, connected to a vast network of cultures and trade routes. For centuries, different traditions blended together here. But another shift was coming. Christian kingdoms gradually extended their influence across the region. New banners appeared above the streets. Churches rose beside older structures. Architectural styles merged rather than vanished, creating a city shaped by multiple civilizations at once. The population continued to grow. Workshops filled the streets. Blacksmiths, merchants, laborers, and craftsmen transformed the district into a dense medieval town. Narrow roads branched outward. Buildings climbed higher. Every available space became part of a growing urban landscape. Then Madrid's rise truly began. As Spain expanded its power, Madrid gained importance. Larger civic buildings appeared. Wealthier residences lined the streets. Roads widened. Construction spread in every direction. The city was no longer a provincial settlement. It was becoming the center of a kingdom. The transformation was dramatic. Grand plazas emerged where crowded streets once stood. Elegant facades replaced older structures. Arcades framed public squares. Carriages rolled through increasingly sophisticated streets. The city projected confidence, ambition, and power. Then came Madrid's golden age. The wealth of a global empire flowed into the capital. Noblemen, artists, scholars, merchants, and officials filled the city. Magnificent buildings dominated the skyline. Public squares became stages for commerce, celebration, and political life. Madrid had become one of Europe's great capitals. The centuries continued to reshape it. The industrial age arrived gradually. Streets became cleaner and more organized. Gas lamps illuminated the night. New monuments appeared. Transportation improved. Technology began transforming daily life while the city's historic heart remained intact. Then modernization accelerated. Electric lights replaced older systems. Trams crossed the streets. Automobiles joined horse-drawn traffic. Cafes expanded. Businesses multiplied. The pace of life quickened as Madrid entered the 20th century. For a moment, the future seemed limitless. Then conflict arrived. Political tensions grew. Streets that once hosted celebrations became uncertain. Barricades appeared. Soldiers moved through public squares. Smoke rose over the city as the Spanish Civil War brought destruction to Madrid. Buildings were damaged. Businesses closed. Everyday life was interrupted by fear and uncertainty. Yet the city endured. When the fighting ended, reconstruction began almost immediately. Rubble disappeared. Damaged structures were repaired. Traffic returned. New buildings rose alongside historic landmarks. Madrid slowly recovered from its wounds. The decades that followed brought remarkable growth. Automobiles filled the streets. Apartment buildings expanded the skyline. Wider avenues connected neighborhoods. Businesses flourished. The population increased rapidly as Madrid became a modern European metropolis. Tourists arrived from around the world. Historic plazas filled with visitors. Public transportation expanded. International commerce strengthened the economy. Glass towers joined centuries-old architecture, creating a city where past and present stood side by side. The pace of change continued. Digital technology transformed communication. Electronic signs appeared. Bicycle lanes expanded. Public spaces were renovated. Historic landmarks were carefully restored while modern infrastructure reshaped everyday life. Madrid entered the 21st century as a global city, yet the evolution was not finished. Green spaces expanded. Electric transportation reduced noise and pollution. Solar panels appeared across rooftops. Streets became more pedestrian-friendly. New technologies improved efficiency while preserving the city's cultural heritage. The future began taking shape. Vertical gardens climbed modern buildings. Smart transportation systems connected the city in new ways. Public spaces became greener, cleaner, and more welcoming. Historic monuments remained at the center of the landscape, linking future generations to centuries of history. And through every transformation, one thing remained unchanged. The same ground, the same location, the same place where shepherds once crossed an open field beneath a vast Spanish sky. Over centuries of empires, wars, prosperity, decline, and renewal, that humble crossing evolved into Madrid, one of Europe's great capitals, carrying the stories of countless generations into the future.